Alright, so we got the primary and transmission oil all drained, changed, all nice and fresh now. So next step we're going to do is the actual engine oil, which you got the engine oil tank right here on these Sportster 1200s. Push that down, it'll pop up. Oh, a little dry, but there you go. And she's pretty black, but we'll leave that propped just like that, and we'll move on to draining the oil. I'll show you how to do that. There's a tube that comes down from this tank that drips, that runs down to the bottom with a little plug in it, and you loosen up a hose clamp, pop the plug out, and you're good to go. Oil will drain out. Prior to that though, there's a scavenger pump in the bottom of the engine that pushes the oil back up into this tank as it's running. Sometimes when these engines sit for a little bit, there's a check valve, I believe it's in the oil pump itself, that pumps it into the engine. But there's a check valve that sometimes will allow some oil to seep past. So if it's sat for a long while without being run, don't go by immediately what you see inside the tank, because that may not be correct. As long as there's some oil in the tank, you know there's some there, start it up, let the scavenger pump do its job, push the oil back into the tank, and then actually check your level. So before we go too much further with this, I'm going to start it real quick. I'll actually screw that back in, but I'm going to start it real quick just to make sure that that scavenger pump has done its job and we have as much oil as possible in this tank so we can drain it out. Make sure it's in neutral, which it is not. There we go. Alright, so as you saw, I let it run for a minute or so, let that scavenger pump do its job, push all the oil back up into the tank. Another reason I let it run for a little longer than just starting it up is I wanted to warm the oil up a little bit and maybe agitate some of the stuff that's built up inside the engine a little bit, so that will drain out too. With that said, without further ado, let's get the oil out of this thing. Alrighty, so if you look up underneath here, underneath the bike, center way, you will see this right here. This is your drain. So now that we've located that, we'll grab a drain pan, throw it under here, and we'll get this draining for you. Alright, so we got our oil pan, drain pan, put that under there. We will loosen this up. Like I said, it's just that little hose clamp. I have never been the biggest fan of this setup, but it is what it is. And there's our oil. That's the plug. That's the oil. So we'll let that drain out. Alright, so as you can see, it's just dripping right now. So we're going to go ahead and put the plug back in. I took the plug, I wiped it down real quick. So oh, knocking the camera over. Try this again. Round two. Oh, I gotta get my hand up in there. Hold it. There. That's in. We'll tighten the hose clamp. Just wipe that off real quick. There. That's back on there. Now onto the oil filter. Alrighty, so the next step we're going to do is get this old oil filter off. little trick. Use a little piece of cardboard, bend it into a V, tuck it up underneath it to help catch the majority of the oil. I'm going to crack this off and turn in the right direction would help. And let's see if we can get it to bite, maybe. Oh, Jesus! That is on there. Whew. Slightly excessively. Alright, I should be able to get it by hand now. Keep that tucked in there. Get this filter right off. See how it catches the oil? It's running right out. Try to let some of that run. Just leave that like that for a minute to catch it. Minimal spillage, not perfect, but gets the majority of it. And speed it up a little bit here. Alright, get that out of the way. I'll show you what that looks like inside there before we get the new filter and put that on. That is what it looks like where the filter was. As you can see, a couple little drops, but nothing compared to what it would have been. The filter trick, or cardboard trick, made short work of it. Caught 99% of it. A few drips, like I said, but no biggie. So I'll grab the oil filter and we'll get that put on now. Alrighty, so the oil that we're going to be putting in it, we got Mobil 1 2050 full synthetic, 4 V-twin engines, JSO MA2 certified. So, and the filter we're going to use is the High Flow Filtro HF170B. I like this because it's got that on the top. So we'll peel the plastic off of here. Oh, I'm making a mess, dropping right in the oil. Fill it up. Make sure you use oil on the rubber gasket. Give it a good coating. I like to roll it around a little bit. Try to get as much air pockets out as I can. And then we'll grab a paper towel and we'll clean the maintenance surface there real quick before we throw this on. So. There's some nastiness in there. Just give it a little quick wipe. Doesn't have to be perfect, just for a good seal. So I'll take this as fast as I can. Get it on there. There. Call that hand tight. And then I'm going to take a ratchet, put it on there, and we're going to give it 1/2 to 3/4 turn. This half, give it another 1/4. And there, new oil filter's all on. Now time to actually give her the new oil. Alright, we're back to the side of the bike. I'm going to pull the dipstick out. So I'll set that somewhere safe. Total capacity should be 2.8 quarts. Get this first quart thrown in. Give that just a second. Good enough. Grab our second quart. Get that one in. And put like 90% of this one in. I'm going to leave about 4 ounces left in the bottle. Still got a little ways to go. So much of a mess I can make out of this. How does that look? Give it a hair more. And that should be right about where it needs to be. But we'll check it. If you look on the stick here, fill, full. The way these Sportsters are designed, they're made to be checked on the kickstand. Some people don't realize that. That is dead nuts on full. So we'll put that in. We'll start her up, and then we'll double check her. Went and grabbed the keys. Got Snoopy here, ready for a ride. He ought to take a ride to the car wash. He looks like he needs a bath, but make sure we're in neutral. That's neutral. Alright, I let it run for a second just to make sure it's all circulated through. Hey, it blew the bottles over. Alright, so we'll give her another check. And she's right where she should be. In that same spot. Perfect. So, hopefully I was able to help you, teach you something. Stick around for more videos. Next project we're going to do on this is probably tackle the tires. Then after the tires are on, I'm probably just going to wheel it inside my house, and then I'll do the handlebars and detail it. Yeah. So tires and the new bars on it. Next 2 projects on this specific bike. And then detail, obviously, but that's final step. And where I don't have a shop up yet, I'll be doing it right in my house. This bike's small enough so I can get it through my front door. So why not use the space I got, be comfortable. Good lighting, and pull up a chair and relax while I clean it. So, alright, stick around for more. Thanks for watching.